In this video, I'll present the paper titled MASH, Scaffolding Comparison Tables for Online Decision Making. My name is Joseph Chang, and this is a joint work with Nathan Hahn and Aniket Kittur. We explore online evidence to help us make all sorts of decisions. In this work, we focus on supporting product comparison research. To find out what tools people currently use, we ran a survey and found that around half build spreadsheets to support their product research. So we interviewed 30 of them, walking through their current processes and challenges, and uncover 3 design goals. Firstly, participants emphasize on the importance of seeing raw evidence and making their own judgments. One reason is that the average ratings can be based on very different reasons. For example, 2 highly rated espresso machines can have very different reviews when it comes to whether they can make latte art or not. Another reason is that reviews might come from others with very different personal contexts. For example, this option may have many reviews that mentioned easy to use, but most of them actually came from very experienced users and might not apply to novices. Secondly, participants said that comparing options using these criteria can be very costly because information is often scattered on these different web pages. And finally, participants wanted to take a more organized approach to their online research, describing their process as chaotic and often falling into many rabbit holes. So one way to support this is with these pre-built comparison tables. While these can cover common objective facts about products, they cannot scale to the long tail of subjective and more personal criteria. Other top-down approaches like recommender systems or extracting criteria from reviews can also help. However, users might not start with clear goals in mind and have to take this bottom-up approach to discover criteria and support making a purchase decision. So based on the 3 design goals, we developed a system called MASH. First, users can import Amazon tabs as options into a project, and the system will fetch basic product information. When the users added a criterion, MASH will search for Amazon reviews and product descriptions that mention the criterion name, and show the average rating as the default value in each cell. To examine the evidence, users can click on a criterion and see matching reviews and descriptions across all their options. As they explore, they can overwrite the default ratings with their own or take notes to better reflect how they interpreted this evidence. Using MASH, users gradually built up a table that contained their own options and criteria with ratings that reflected how they interpreted evidence. They can also sort their options based on their criteria ratings and generate weighted average ratings to support making that final decision. So this was a high-level walkthrough of the interface, but does it actually work? Our first study looked at finding objective facts about product, and we found that when using MASH, participants were 46% more accurate, 33% more efficient, and they also perceive a lowered workload, even though they were using an unfamiliar interface. We also tested criteria that were more subjective using a fixed persona. Participants conducted 20 minutes of research and wrote a summary of what they've learned during that 20 minutes. So we labeled the summaries and found that MASH participants were significantly more focused, confident, and insightful compared to participants who use Google Sheets as the baseline. And finally, we deployed MASH to test with real-world tasks. So all 5 participants were actively engaged with the system for a prolonged period of time. So after 2 weeks, 4 of them made actual purchases, showing that MASH can support decision-making in the real world. They also conducted a wide range of tasks. Here are some of the things that they purchased. So here's one representative quote on their overall process. In theory, I could do all of this myself, but it would take 10 times longer and I would never do it well. It's nice to have a more organized and systematic approach. They also compared MASH favorably to using spreadsheets. Participants also found value in both the default ratings and the ability to overwrite them. Specifically, they paid closer attention to ones that had larger discrepancies between their options, and describe how accumulating small decisions on evidence allowed them to work towards making that final decision. So one said, once I start making decisions, I put my ratings and notes in there. So it will help me make a better purchase decision based on what I think. So here's one project from the deployment. Some of the ratings were left alone and others were overwritten by the participant. So to conclude, online decision-making can be challenging because online evidence can be scattered, subjective, and conflicting. Providing user-centered scaffolding support can allow users to work more efficiently and gain deeper insights from data to support making that final decision.